All right, folks, we are back for another episode of the best AEW podcast online that you're going to hear. And what is that, Lionel?
Welcome to this week's episode of Off the Top Rope.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing another two-parter this week because Collision still hasn't put the whole episode out. And I refuse to watch 1 hour of a show on Saturday and 1 hour on Sunday. I will be watching both hours later tonight. So as you're hearing this should be on Monday. This is part one. We're going to be talking about Dynamite here. If you come back tomorrow, we can talk about Collision. Definitely feel free to listen to both for sure. Dynamite, I feel like, will be the main one this week, though. So if you only have chance to listen to one, this is the one. But you should always listen to both because it's high quality content. So you should definitely just do that.
Yeah, of course.
And we got to get through the usual stuff. So if you have not already, please make sure you're following us on Blue Sky. They are all on the screen right now. For Profit, it's at Profit. For me, it's at Shikoku. And if you want the whole podcast, it's at TAGPW Podcast. Definitely follow all of us on there because we have a lot of good talking points on all those channels. Definitely make sure to follow us there and interact with us, talk with us there. You can see podcast episodes. You can see us live reacting to shows. We talk about other wrestling too. I was talking about New Japan last week. So definitely feel free to follow us on there and you'll get a lot of content there. Other than that, if you're on the go and you can't watch us on YouTube, for sure go over to Podbean and Spotify and listen to the podcast there. Because Off the Top Rope, every single episode of Off the Top Rope is going to be over there on Podbean and Spotify. So you can, while you're on the go, while you're cooking dinner, while you're doing more Monster Hunter grinding, because that's still what I've been doing, you can listen to us wherever you are. All right, Prophet, tell them about the YouTubes.
All right, guys. So as we talk about it every week on the YouTube page, when you subscribe to us, you'll not only get one podcast, but you get three. So I'm going to list them off real quick just so you know what you get when you subscribe to us. So first off, you get Off the Top Rope. You get that every week. That's us talking about the current episode of AEW Dynamite and also soon to be New Japan. We're going to get there. I promise. We also talk about video games, which is our command grab episodes. So, every time we talk about games on command grab, it's usually what we're playing and what we're excited for that's coming out. Pretty soon, we're probably going to be talking about that Switch 2 because it gets revealed in a couple of weeks and my ass is going to be over there, trying to reserve me one. But that's either here nor there at the moment. And lastly, we have the OVA, where we talk about anime. And man, there's some anime coming out for the next season. I don't know how I'm not going to be able to follow it all. But there's some good stuff coming next season. And this season, there's only two shows you got to talk about. Solo Leveling and Shangri-La Frontier. You're going to get our takes on that and, more updates on that soon. But you get all three of those. So do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notified whenever any of those shows pop up. And also, at the end of this episode, if you like the episode, tap that like button. That also helps us out, helps the algorithm. Let people know that, hey, people like yourself, people like others, you like the show. So, and it should get distributed to everybody that would also like the show. So with that, let's get to AEW.
Yes, sir. Before we can do that, this isn't going to be a conversation point. I hate solo leveling.
There's only one reason we all hate solo leveling, because it's the king of cliffhangers.
I don't understand why they do this. Every episode has to end on a cliffhanger. We can't get like something. There shouldn't have been a cliffhanger this episode. There could have been something else, but not. You know what? I can talk about it. We're here for AEW Dynamite. Next week we'll be able to talk about the end of seasons because we got to. We're gonna have to record a lot of podcasts next week. We got to talk about gaming. We got to talk about anime.
Yeah.
We got to talk about New Japan because New Japan Cup wrapped up and we're getting into Soccer Genesis.
Ooh.
So y'all might get a lot of podcasts next week. Maybe we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
But yeah, man. I think we can get on to that AEW Dynamite.
All right, let's get on to this AEW Dynamite. So this week's Dynamite, I'm just gonna start off by saying this week's Dynamite was, I would say, almost flawless. from from top to bottom, every match on the card was great. All the story beats were hitting everything. So with that, of course, AEW starts the way AEW is going to start, and that's fast and furious. So we had the four-way with Orange Cassidy, Ricochet, Mark Davis, and Mike Bailey. Man, let me tell you, this was the match where if you've never seen Mark Davis wrestle before, or you're wondering why he's on the roster or whatever, watch this match. You'll know why. He came out like a monster in this match. So, starting out in this match, everybody in the ring, and they're trying to do a four-way, like almost test of strength type deal. And, Orange Cassidy wasn't having it. He was like, why would I do that? So instead, everybody paired off, and then they started, it was Orange Cassidy and Ricochet fighting each other, and then Mike Bailey and Mark Davis. They quickly jumped Mark Davis and knocked him out of the ring. And, and then right after that, Ricochet knocks Orange Cassidy out of the ring. Mike Bailey turns Ricochet around, starts doing that switch kick thing that he does, knocks Ricochet out the ring. Orange Cassidy goes in the ring. He does the switch kicks his style, which is them slow, them really slow kicks that infuriates everybody. And then, of course, when Mike Bailey tried to strike him, then he sped up and then he hits Mike Bailey with a front drop kick. And then it doesn't stop there. Like, more chaos ensues because that's the type of match this is, and people aren't on the outside. So Ricochet gets up, he's on the outside. Mike Bailey slides out of. He doesn't even slide. He jumps through the middle rope, does a Hurricane Rana to Ricochet, starts kicking the shit out of Ricochet on the side. Like, it looked like Ricochet was getting hit with a bat every time he kicked him. Then Mark Davis gets up and is, about to, go at Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey tries to do the Hurricane Rana to Mark Davis. Mark Davis ain't having it. He power bombs him on the side of the ring. And then Orange Cassidy tries to do something, and then he backdrops Orange Cassidy on the side of the ring. So, Mark Davis pretty much completely took control. He gets in the ring, and it's pretty much a war at that point. Everybody trying to take out Mark Davis Ward is the thing. Mark Davis, he pretty much took control. He was clotheslining everybody, his shoulder tackling. He was brutalizing people. At one point, he did this pop-up pile driver that was so sick. Like, he did it to Orange Cassidy. He powerbombed Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy was on the ground, and then he popped him up and then pile drove him. I'm like, man, look at Mark Davis. Look at him just showing what he got. And, and then there was another point where Mark Davis finally gets knocked down, and it was like dueling shooting stars. Mike Bailey did a shooting star on Mark Davis first. Ricochet pushes him out the ring, and then he does a shooting star on Mark Davis. Orange Cassidy comes in the ring. He throws Ricochet out of the ring, and then he acts like he's going to do one, and he just tries to pin him, and Mark Davis kicks out at one. And then, again, Davis gets up. He clears the ring. And at this point, in the corner, like I think it was like Mike Bailey's in the corner. Mark Davis charges. He misses. Mike Bailey, he goes for a backslide pin. Ricochet jumps in the ring and also pins Mark Davis. So they get the 3 count, and both Ricochet and Mike Bailey win the match. So now the challenge, the first match, Kenny Omega's first title defense is now against Ricochet and Mike Bailey. Holy shit. What did you think about this match, man?
Man, this match was fantastic. It was a very fun way to start off Dynamite. Also, as one of the few Mark Davis truthers out there, I want to just tell y'all personally that I fucking told y'all so.
Mm-hmm.
I said months ago, man, I want Mark Davis to come back. On the podcast, I was like, I wish Mark Davis would come back. Hope he's doing all right. On the podcast months ago, Aussie Open, both Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher have been fantastic. Kyle Fletcher's been able to really show off his stuff. Mark Davis is just as good, and I'm happy that he's showing it. He had a monster performance in this 4-way. He had a monster performance on Collision. Like, he's just going to be able to continue this. Eventually, he's going to go over to Ring of Honor. He's going to do what Kyle Fletcher did. So just be ready for that. I don't know what to say about the other 3 at this point, right? Orange Cassidy's Orange Cassidy. Like, he's going to do what he does. He's the best at what he does. Ricochet is also just Ricochet at this point, right? Like, Ricochet, like, he has his persona, he has his confidence, everything down to a T. So even while I was thinking about this, I didn't think that they were going to do a 3-way, right? I thought only one of them was going to win. I assumed it was going to be Speedball. I'm actually very happy that's a 3-way, because Speedball also gets to start off his stuff against Kenny Omega. And plus, we don't get to throw everything away from a singles match between both Kenny Omega and Ricochet, or Kenny and Speedball. We get little snippets, and we can get singles matches between both them later. Fantastic. Like, all in all, I love this opening. I love the decision that they made, and I can't wait to watch that 3-way.
Yeah, same here. And you know what? From the 4-way, I just want to see all those guys interact with each other more, like in like a singles capacity, right? I want to see the Mark Davis versus Orange Cassidy, or the Mark Davis versus Ricochet, or Mark Davis versus Mike Bailey, right? And then I want to see that combination with everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a fantastic match. Glad Mark Davis got to show his stuff and show people why he's good. He fits what AEW is, and don't worry, he's a damn good wrestler.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. This was an excellent match, man. Like, to start off, it had me popping off on Blue Sky, man. I was like, yo, Mark Davis is looking like a monster right now.
as he is. This is how Mark Davis has been. Like I know a lot of people didn't get to, like, there aren't a lot of, like, there's not a ton of crossover between New Japan and AEW as much anymore, right?
Right.
In the fandom. Like, a lot of the fandom doesn't watch both anymore. If you got a chance to watch Aussie Open when they were doing stuff in New Japan as a tag team before they got to AEW, you would have known off rip that both of them are like A+ stars. They both can wrestle. You know, Davis got hurt a couple times. He hasn't been able to be around, which helped Kyle Fletcher, because Kyle Fletcher got to really shine and really expand himself. Now that Davis is back, Davis can do the same thing. And I'm happy that they're in the same faction, but they're not just tagging with each other, because now Davis can show his stuff too, which is fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, man. But nothing but praise for that match, because that match was so damn good. I literally, because I was, I always go back and take notes later, because I like watching the whole show as it is, without like stopping and taking notes and stuff like that, and then watch it to take some notes from the show. Watching it a second time, it was so damn good. Again, I watched the whole show twice. Like, the show was just, this week's Dynamite was just so fucking good. Which leads me to, so like right after this, we had like a Dynasty video package. Again, AEW stepping it up with those video packages, doing more stuff to, like, hey, you get this stuff, you get these awesome pay-per-views going on, you got this stuff. They're finally doing it, and they're doing it really damn good. And whoever the video editor is damn good.
Top-notch video editor. Whatever team they have back there is fantastic.
Yeah, they're fantastic, because it's night and day. You go back and watch 2019 AEW and leading up to a pay-per-view, and then watch now, it's night and day. It's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
And then we had a Hurt Syndicate video package, of course. All those guys look like $1 million as always. So the next match was Mercedes Mone versus Billie Starkz. This is another one of those. It's like, let me tell you, this match went hard. This was a damn good match. So at the start of this match, like, Billie Starkz and Mercedes were in the middle of the ring. Billie Starkz was doing the the code of honor, the handshake. Mercedes Mone was not having it and just attacked her. She just went right at her. She started attacking her, hitting her, mounted her from the back, started slapping her in the back of the head and stuff. She was doing everything she could to try to humiliate Billie Starkz at the beginning of the match. This all changes when Billie Starkz got thrown into the corner. Mercedes started to run at her and do something. Billie Starkz moves out of the way. Mercedes hits the corner. Then Billie Starkz hits an enziguri, and then a tornado DDT. And then, so after the tornado DDT, Mercedes rolls to the outside. Billie Starkz runs and lands a dive, and a dive on Mercedes to the outside, throws Mercedes back in, hits a Zenton, then gets a 2 count. I could tell, like, at this point, people were like, you could tell, like, you could look in the crowd and stuff like that. They went from oh to holy shit to I'm invested now, like just that fast. What were you gonna say, Lionel?
Oh no, I was laughing. I'm with you.
Like so Mercedes, she finally reverses. She takes control, and of course, it goes to the goddamn commercial break. Fuck you, commercials. I paid for commercialless HBO, you sons of bitches. I shouldn't have commercials.
Y'all didn't really miss much in this one. There wasn't like this wasn't one of those where they were like going. Megan Bayne and Kris Statlander were going a little bit crazy during the commercial breaks, and I'm mad that some of y'all missed that. But this one, not crazy. Y'all didn't really miss anything on this one.
Yeah. So after the break, when it comes back, Billie Starkz gets Mercedes in almost like a tombstone position. Mercedes reverses, and I don't know what the move is called. It's like it's almost like, I don't know. It's not. It's I don't know. It's the move where she jumps back, she put the knees to the gut. It's not a backstabber because of the position, because it's in tombstone position. She just did it from there, right?
It's like it's a different version of the lung blower. I forget exactly what that version is
The
called.
lung blower. There you go. So Mercedes lands that, and then Mercedes goes for the three amigos. Billie Starkz reverses, and reverses with I think it was like a suplex of her own, and then they both come back. They start landing combinations on each other. Mercedes gets the best of it by ending it with a big clothesline, lays Billie Starkz out. Her and Billie Starkz are laying in the middle of the ring. Mercedes goes for the pin, gets a 2 count. And then right after that, there was some things went on. They get into the corner. Billie Starkz lifts Mercedes up with her neck pretty much. She probably should have used her back, but she used her neck. And did like, I don't know, almost looked like a one-wing angel. I'm just going to call it the two-wing angel because she had her in like both things, but looked like it didn't go right. And Mercedes looked like she landed on her head almost. I don't think she got fully on her head. I think it was probably like part of her neck. So, Mercedes rolling around, she was like halfway out, halfway in the ring. Billie Starkz climbs on the top rope, then tries to do a flipping Zen time, misses. Mercedes, and Mercedes gets her in the ring, rolls her up, gets the 2 count, and immediately after Billie Starkz kicks out, Mercedes Mone hits I think it's the Mone it used to be called bank statement, but the Mone statement.
Statement maker.
Oh, statement maker. There we go. And Billie Starkz taps out. And yeah, and that was the end of that match. Damn good match.
It was just incredible, right? Like, can we pause for a second? Not for too long. A lot of y'all are really weird about Mercedes. We talked about this before. I've seen some people saying that Mercedes can't even wrestle. Like,
what?
Like, y'all gotta be stupid or something. I don't know how you can see these matches and you're like, Mercedes doesn't do anything other than Meteoras. Like, no, that's definitely not true.
That's not true.
That's like saying, oh, Kenny Omega only knee strikes. No, Kenny also does other stuff. Mercedes does other stuff also. It's like I don't know, it's like Kevin Owens only does stunners and sentons. Like, no, that's not how that works either. Like, everyone has signature moves. Meteor's signature move. A lot of y'all are really weird about Mercedes, and she proves every time that she's out there, no matter who she's with, that she's one of one. That she is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. And Billie, if y'all haven't been watching Billie Starkz, I feel like y'all know now that Billie Starkz ain't nothing to play with. Nope. Billie Starkz also was on like a young contract like Nick Wayne was, but she was just on Ring of Honor, and she's been wrestling a lot more on Ring of Honor than Nick Wayne's been wrestling on AEW. So this is the proof. You see how good she is. It was just fantastic. And the fact that this was just like a setup match to the build is also insane, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know why people are just so weird about Mercedes. I think they're, you know what? I know why. People are just regurgitating Jim Cornette bullshit.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette and fucking, what's his name? Eric Bischoff. Those are the two people that, like, I don't know why, but ever since Mercedes like went to AEW instead of going back to WWE, they've just had it out for her. And it's for no reason. No reason at all. She's consistently proven that she is the best. One of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm not going to say women's wrestlers. I'm just saying one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
She proves it each and every week. Those 4 titles ain't because, she's bad. No, she is one of the best. So start giving her flowers and start giving her props. Because look, I've also heard the thing, some people say she can't get people over or she can only get herself over. Watch this match. She sold like $1 million for Billie Stark the whole match.
Mm-hmm.
There was give and take. Watch all the other matches, man. Like, you guys are just trying to find stuff, and it's only because she's in AEW. She was in WWE doing the same stuff, you'd be all happy and all that shit. But she went to where the best wrestle, not where the best act. No, I won't even see the best, not where the mediocre act.
Yeah, that's right. You can't say the best, right? Because one of the best storylines over the last 2 years was from AEW.
Yes.
Like not even objectively. Like Toni Storm and Mariah May is probably one of the best wrestling stories that's happened like the last 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how can you AEW just has the best all around right now. Like just how it is.
Yeah, like you had that. We had one of the other ones was Hangman and Swerve. Like, how are you going to discount that storyline? That's like literally one of the other best storylines came from AEW.
Got Hangman's Rise is another one that's up there, right?
Yeah, his rise and fall. That's ongoing.
Rise and fall, and rise again and fall and rise. Like that's the 5-year Hangman story.
Yeah, like he's had a consistent story for 5 years. Like, so yeah, no, you know what? People can get out of here about that. I'll take the downvote for us telling the truth about Mercedes and what she can do. She is one of the best wrestlers. She's better than your favorite ones at the other company. They barely wrestle. They cannot stack up to Mercedes right now.
No, I think the once we talk about eventually we have to do a command grab. Eventually we're gonna have to do an OVA where we're gonna have to talk about the same subject, right? What people online are saying a lot of stuff that isn't true just to try to dunk on stuff. That's happening. It happens everywhere at this point. But the things that we talk about, wrestling, anime, and video games, all have a contingent of people who honestly probably don't even watch whatever product they're talking about, trying to dunk on it for like no reason, just because it's different, right? Like we're not gonna get fully into it, but you saw what's happening with Assassin's Creed Shadows right now. Like grifters are losing their minds right now because the game is doing well.
Well, we'll save that for the command grab because I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait for that.
That's just how it is everywhere right now. Like AEW is doing well right now, and people are like grasping at straws to try to think of anything they can to just say something to ruin someone's enjoyment of it, which is weird. Like just watch the company that you watch, enjoy your company, and move on. Like you don't have to try to dunk on AEW just because of whatever. Ain't WWE doing great right now? Aren't y'all really happy about that? Just stay the fuck over there. Like y'all don't have to come over here and try to do shit. Just stay over there. Y'all having fun over there, right? Stay over there. Don't bother.
Yes. Stay over there. You have like what 3 shows that you can watch over there, and why don't you critique your shows as hard as you're doing AEW?
If only, right?
Yeah, like why don't you critique that just as hard? There's reasons why they don't. But and then you got your WWE light show, which is TNA. So, you essentially have 4 shows. Watch those and critique those as hard as you do AEW. You probably stop watching your show once you started doing it, but yeah, try critiquing your show just as hard.
No, the people that watch them will stop watching them because they're not dunking on a product that none of them watch. Imagine Eric Bischoff right now if he wasn't talking about AEW the way he is. Like we barely hear about him now. Only time you hear about him is when he's talking bad about AEW. So imagine what happens then. Same with the radio, Busted Open Radio. Only hear about that when they're dunking on AEW.
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna call Busted Open Radio WWE Radio because that's all they. Look, they're not hiding the fact that they're 100% WWE.
No,
and then they only put AEW on there to shit on it. I don't even know why Thunder Rosa's still there, but like you got 3. You have what? 2, because it was like Mark Henry just re-signed his Legends deal. So you got 2 guys on WWE Legends deals, right? 2 of them sometimes show up on NXT to do their pre-show. They might even show up on WrestleMania weekend doing their pre-show. Who knows? I don't give a fuck.
More than
right?
likely.
More than likely. The third one just does creative for TNA, I guess. Who knows? He probably got ousted. That's why he's WWE Light now. And then, he's kind of an outlier. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Tommy Dreamer, right? Like, he's there to give some type of opinion, but, he kind of falls in with the other two for the most part. So, and then Thunder Rosa's just there. So, it's like, you got it's WWE heavy. We'll just say that. It is very WWE heavy and WWE biased.
And I feel like if y'all want to do that, that's fine. Do that. Just y'all don't have to talk about another wrestling company. Talk about the wrestling companies you want to watch. Talk about the ones that you want to talk about. There's a reason that we don't talk about WWE. We don't watch it.
We don't watch it.
So we don't talk about it. Like, we know stuff because at this point in life, you can't get away without knowing something that's going on in WWE right now. Right? Like, you just can't. But we don't talk about it because we're not WWE fans. We stick to AEW, we stick to New Japan, we stick to whatever we stick to because that's what we're fans of. Like, that's what we're doing. So long story short, stop being weird on the internet about things that you don't watch and you don't play, you don't do. Enjoy the stuff that you enjoy and just move the fuck on. Stop being a weirdo.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry. It was on my heart. I had to let it go because it's been getting annoying ever since the heel turn from a couple weeks ago. Like, it's nonstop. They just won't shut up. Like, they won't stop.
Well, you forget. This is our show. We can talk whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly. It's been annoying me honestly for like a couple weeks because every time I go into Blue Sky and every time I go into like the AEW community feed, all I see, other than like, there are people who are in there that watch AEW and that are joining AEW and talking about that. But half the time it's like people being weird about AEW and complaining about stuff. And then randomly outside of the wrestling industry, outside of wrestling company, because AEW trends really high on Blue Sky all the time because most AEW fans have migrated over.
Uh-huh.
You get the random couple people who are there for like politics who are like, why is AEW here when we're talking about X? And it's like, or not X as in Twitter, but like something else. And I'm sitting there laughing like, yeah, you know what? You got a point. If you're looking at trending topics and the first thing you see is AEW and you see like random stuff and you're talking about like the price of eggs and talk about other stuff, I get being upset. I think those are funny. But the ones that are like the people who don't watch AEW who are actively trying to dunk on it also on Blue Sky. It's weird. And like I said, I had to get off my chest because it was bothering me.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty annoying to, every time you get on, that's what you'll see. And you could tell none of those people watch the show. Like,
no,
they try to dunk on storylines and it's like, wait, did you even watch this? Are we watching the same thing? Because most times I could tell you just haven't watched shit.
There's definitely a big difference between the people who are critiquing the Death Riders that are watching AEW and the people who are critiquing the Death Riders that aren't watching AEW. Like, you can tell. Like, if you're scrolling through things and you see people saying stuff, you can tell who watches AEW and who's critiquing it and who does not watch AEW and who's trying to like dogpile on it. Like, always. It's so easy to tell.
Yeah, it is real easy to tell. And they just don't and they're the ones that usually have that they do not know what the hell they're talking about.
Exactly. But that's it, man. I think we can move forward. But that was, like I said, it was on my heart. I'm happy. I feel better. I feel like 20 pounds was lifted off my shoulders.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Because you know what? You know what we're going to get to next?
Wait, who's next?
Hold on. I'll get to it. Hold on. So, we had the MVP MJF video recap with, he was like, hey, focus on, the key word is win. Was. The key word was champion. Right? And then MJF, he's looking at we go get an interview with MJF. He's looking at the card. And then, he's like, getting through the Death Riders. He's the only one that is observed. If you're going to get through the Death Riders, you have to get through the army of Death Riders first before you get to Moxley. And he pretty much says, you know what? If he's going to do it, last time he tried to trust somebody, they turned their back on him. They kind of screwed him over. So he's going to go with some people that he trusts. And we'll find out next week. Alex Hammerstone. But still, it's going to be the dynasty at Dynasty.
MJF has had He bought the firm, which was a thing. Funny enough, no one talks about the firm anymore. Firm, it feels like it's long forgotten. He had the Pinnacle. He was teaming with Jericho for a while. He teamed with Cody for a little while. Obviously, Adam Cole was the one he talked about who burned him, which that one's like valid, right? Because Adam Cole literally burned him, even though like that he did that for like no reason. Like if we're calling spade a spade, the one thing MJF is right about is the fact that Adam Cole burned him for literally no reason. but other than that, if we're gonna get another MJF faction, I need this one to stick for at least a year.
Yeah.
The Pinnacle, I feel like didn't even last that long.
Yeah, I do think if they bring in Dynasty, I do think it will probably stick for more than a year.
So it's gonna be him and Hammerstone, and there's maybe one more person, or just him and Hammerstone. What do you think?
No, him, Hammerstone, and then I always forget the other guy's name in MLW. I don't think he's in MLW anymore. So, or either that or he's about to leave MLW. Who knows, right? Like, I forget the third guy's name because he also had a big ass feud with Hammerstone in MLW. So I can see all three of them doing their thing, like just like they did in MLW, and then they all turn on each other like they did in MLW.
You know who I want to join AEW, and this might be a little bit of a deep cut. Mm-hmm. Do you know who Big Bad Kaiju is? O'Shea Edwards.
O'Shea Edwards.
Look him up for a second. Take a look at him.
Okay.
I would love, and I know we have a really wild track record on here. This one cannot happen. I don't think this one can happen. But if we get Hammerstone and O'Shea Edwards as a tag team around MJF, and that be the his little faction, boy oh boy, it cannot happen. Like I don't even know what O'Shea is doing right now. I have no idea. I know he's wrestling. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he is. I know he's not like signed to anywhere, like a major company. I know he's not signed to anywhere. But just imagine if you can get O'Shea Edwards in there with Hammerstone and let that be a tag team. You want monsters.
Yeah, actually, all right. If we're talking people that I would love to get brought into AEW, Boombayah Fight Club.
Oh man, what Alex Kang and the crew? Yeah.
Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, man. What they're still signed to MLW right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Alex Kane re-signed actually. So yeah, I that's who I would love to join AEW, man. Like maybe one day, but yeah, him and Mr. Thomas, man, hell yeah.
God, imagine if we had Boombayah on like Wednesdays and had Shane Taylor Promotions on Saturdays.
Because eventually they would clash. There's no way they wouldn't.
And they'd have to at some point, right? That'd be one of the best feuds of AEW.
Yeah, no, that shit would be crazy.
But yeah, we'll see what MJF does. I know MJF is not accepting the Hurt Syndicate offer, and like I said last week, I would prefer him not be in Hurt Syndicate anyway. So,
well, he pretty much let it be known. He's like, he pretty much said, if you didn't catch it from that interview, he's pretty much saying, yeah, I'm not accepting the Hurt Syndicate's offer.
So we'll see. More than likely Hammerstone. This could also be the place where Josh Alexander shows up, but that's as much as I love Josh Alexander, this is not the place for him. They need a heavy here.
No, let Josh Alexander get into that amazing international title scene.
Yeah.
Put him in there. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Uh-huh.
International title scene is AEW's X division.
See, I feel like
it's better. It's a little bit better. Like better. It's better.
I would say like these WWF Intercontinental Championship scene where you have like a bunch of heavy hitters. You have heavy hitters in the X division also, but you have a bunch of heavy hitters doing matches that can main event anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty similar to X division, I'd say. So yeah, I feel like that's fine.
But yeah, man, a lot of good stuff. But more than likely next week it's going to be Alex Hammerstone.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because the old boy did not hesitate to tell everybody he was done filming and taping. It was like a few weeks ago. Or, he did all of his February stuff for fucking TNA and he was done. Like immediately. He's like, yeah, I'm done with TNA. I'm the fuck out of there.
Okay. We probably won't be on the subject for too much longer. But you know who I'd be disappointed if they went to for this? If it was Warlow again?
God damn it.
I don't think it is either. But that would be the disappointments if it was like, if this is how Warlow came back on screen, just going back with MJF. Yeah, no, after that had that blow off match and all the shit that happened backstage with that, I don't think that's gonna happen. But that would be hilarious if we just circle back to 2022 and did that. They can't, but they can't. Those two do not like each other, but whatever.
Yep.
And keep Warlow on my screen. Like, I keep him away. I don't care.
Let's see. Okay, before I get to the next one, I gotta take a little break. All right, I am back.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, so next up is a match that made Lionel black out. Forget the rest of the show.
Oh my god, yeah, I did.
We got Cope versus Mox. Man, I'm just gonna tell you guys, watch all of Revolution except for the last match, and then put this match in its place. And it's like the perfect card. Oh man. So this match for sure made up for Revolution. It beyond made up for it. They brought it. I'll just say that. They brought it this time. So, right when the match literally did not start in the ring. They were playing Moxley's music, and he was coming in from the outside. He probably just drove in. He had his suitcase and everything. And Cope ambushed him and started beating the shit out of him. And they were fighting from the outside all the way to the inside of the arena. And I'm gonna just do a bunch of highlights of the match, instead of like going beat for beat, because there was a lot of shit that happened in this match, and there's no way I'm going to be able to catch all of it unless I watched it like 3 or 4 times, right? But some of the highlights from that. Mox, they got into the arena. Mox grabs, they start fighting. They're fighting on the outside. They fight around the outside. Mox, Cope grabs a trash can, hits Mox with it. Mox eventually later on grabs a kendo stick, starts beating the hell out of Cope with it. Then they start fighting around, and they get to the announce table, the best no-sell table ever, and Moxley gives Cope a paradigm shift on the table, and Cope just like rolls off. He just just roll off after that paradigm shift. So they get back into the ring. Mox starts hitting, does some chair shots to Cope, puts Cope's neck into in the chair, and Mox, goes to the top rope because he's going to try to jump and break his neck with the chair. Immediately, Cope gets up, throws the chair at him, does a superplex. Mox gets up, and then, after an exchange, Cope rolls out of the ring, after Cope gets the best of it. Cope rolls out of the ring and gets spiked. Cope rolls back inside the ring. Mox hits Cope with a cutter, and then, Mox sets up he goes out, gets a table, sets it up inside the ring. And then, let's see. Okay, so Cope grabs Spike. He gets up, hits Mox in the stomach and the back with Spike. But that's not all, kids. If you haven't seen it, we're about to talk about it. So, Cope puts Spike on the ground. Cope then picks up Moxley, gets him in the suplex position, and suplexes him on top of Spike. If you didn't think those things were real, they're pretty fucking real, because that bat was stuck in his back. It was God. If you haven't seen it yet, you gotta see it. You gotta see it at least once. Don't turn away either. Don't be no bitch. Don't turn away. At this point, Lionel blacked out. But it's fine because I'm here and I watched it twice, like a man.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. If that's being a man, I'm cool. I'm good.
So right after that happened, Wheeler Yuta sprints to the ring, hits Cope with the psycho knee, and Moxley is like, hey, get it out of my back. So you see Wheeler Yuta trying to pull it, and it's pulling all that skin. It is pulling his skin. God, this shit is nasty, man. So Wheeler Yuta goes outside the ring. The ref finally gets the bat out of the Moxley's back. Cope powerbombs Yuta through the table that's on the outside. Let's see. And then so Claudio and Pac show up. And then they start beating up Cope. And then FTR shows up. They take out the Death Riders. And shit, even Dax got a lick in on Moxley. He did a fucking amazing looking pile driver to him. And, Cope was trying to pin Moxley. And then Marina Shafir comes in. And then Willow comes in and takes out Marina Shafir. So we all thought, okay, hey, all the Death Riders are gone. Who else could show up? Well, unfortunately, there's unfinished business with Christian. And the Patriarchy shows up. He takes out Kip Sabian, but Nick Wayne gets him with the Wayne's World. Like, gets him with that cutter. And Mox tries to pin Cope. Cope kicks out, and immediately Mox puts in the choke, and Cope is out. He knocks Cope out with the choke, and Mox and the Death Riders win. So at the end of this, they're all in the ring for an extended period of time. So for a second, the way they were positioned, what's his name? Not Dax, but wow, I forgot the other. Well, how did I forget the other guy's name? Of FTR.
Cash Wheeler.
Cash. So Cash and Dax are positioned. One's in the front, one's in the back, right? Of Cope, and Cope's on the ground, right? I for sure thought they were going to turn right there because Cash is the one that usually lifts up, and then Dax is the one that does the knee part of the shatter machine. I thought they were going to pick Cope up and then do the shatter machine to him because he lost. But that didn't happen. Instead of helping Cope up, Dax gets pissed off and he leaves. And he's like, screw this. You lost to the goddamn Death Riders. You screwed it with all of our help. Screw this. Cash is in there and is like, hey, what the hell's going on? And he doesn't go after Dax. He just, he picks Cope up. Him and Willow get Cope up. That's the end of that. So, with all that, how did you feel about this match? What did you think of this match?
From being in person at Revolution and seeing the match and seeing how that was like portrayed and how that was taken in, this was definitely a much needed heater of a match. I think the match was great. I was a little bit worried at the beginning, right? But then they started going crazy kind of immediately. So like it definitely felt, I don't know if they care or not, but to me, it definitely felt like they were trying to prove something, right? Because this is the most like motivated I've seen Moxley in a while, right? So
Right.
I think it was a really great match. The spike spot with the spike in Moxley's back was crazy. There's an angle somewhere. Someone has a video, and I don't know if they posted it or not, but someone has a video of the referee taking Spike out of Moxley's back. If you have that video and you can hear my voice, put that video somewhere so we can see it. Because I want to see how the referee got that out of his back. Because the way it looked, and when Wheeler tried to pull it out, and the skin was just coming with Spike.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see how it got out of his back. And shout out to that motherfucking referee, bro. For being able to do it. Moxley wasn't bleeding a lot when it came out. Looked like it just kind of penetrated the skin. It looked, I'm pretty sure it hurt like the dickens. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure it hurt like fucking hell.
Yeah.
But it looks like it only penetrated skin, so it might not have been as bad as it looked. But let me tell you, it looked awful.
Yeah.
So, like,
it should look bad.
When I saw that, I said, okay, Mox, I'm not going to say anything bad about your title reign again. Like, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm for sure going to do it. But right now, bro, look, you're good. In my book right now, you're good.
Shit.
And then the aftermath with Dax and Cash, like that was interesting, right? Because I definitely thought it was going to be the turn because we've seen FTR being like real nasty to Undisputed Kingdom, so I definitely just kind of assumed that the turn was going to be here also, like just put him down even further, put Kobe down even further. Yeah, the fact that it was only Dax is very interesting. Like I know they're both going to turn eventually. Like they're not going to split up. FTR's not splitting up. Like that would be a very dumb decision if they split up. So
that'd be a stupid decision.
It's going to be interesting to see how Cash turns and what happens. I know Cope ain't going that way either. Cope is going to be pure good guy for sure. But it's going to be interesting to see where the story goes. I think this drummed up a lot of interest. And now we kind of got Cope and Christian out of the way. And now we can solely focus now fully on Mox and Swerve to see what's going to happen at Dynasty. It was a great match, great segment after. It was nice seeing Willow. Like everything was great about this entire match. I loved it.
Yeah. But at the end, you see Nana calling somebody. I wonder who Nana's calling.
Oh, you know.
Is he calling the judge and was it the judge and who's he tagged with in our?
Oh, Lee Johnson.
Yeah, is it them?
No, I think he's just calling Swerve because I don't think Swerve was on the. I don't think Swerve was at Dynamite this week. I'm just gonna assume he was just calling Swerve. I don't think he was trying to call any backup or anything like that. Yeah. I think eventually like Swerve will get back up, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it was just like oh hey Swerve, hey boss, it's Moxley. You can get out of your $1 million house now, boss. It's Moxley. Get ready.
Yeah, it's gonna. Oh man, that's gonna be interesting because I think even if the Death Rider's out of the way, there's still an X factor in that whole thing for Swerve, and that's going to be Hangman.
I mean, you're about to talk about him pretty soon.
Yep, we're going to talk about
We'll get
that.
to him when we get there, but definitely, there's definitely something interesting there, right? Because again, we'll talk about it when we get there, but there's something interesting brewing there too.
Yeah,
Like we talked about it like a few weeks ago, also, just saying.
just saying. So we had the right after this, we had the video package for the Jericho Bandito feud that's going on, and Renee was with Bandito backstage, and Bandito's just telling him, hey, he's upset, he's mad that Jericho embarrassed his brother in front of his mom and sister because that was the first show they ever saw them in, and that he'll never forgive him for it. He's going to, Jericho's going to pay, but Johnny TV is like, hey, ain't nobody trying to see you be a little sad bitch. We want what the people want, and what will actually get ratings is you versus Johnny TV. So what do you say on the slam dunk collision? And Bandito's like, okay, I'll meet you there. I almost feel like that was a mistake for Johnny TV, but we'll see. Never seen a pissed off Bandito before.
It's gonna be interesting, right? And it is Slam Dunk Sunday, so on the day we're recording is tonight. But for everyone listening to this, it happened yesterday, so y'all can go ahead and have fun in the comments, I guess. But yeah, at this point we'll both have seen it, so it's all good.
Yeah. And so after this, we had Ospreay versus AR Fox. It was a fun short match. I don't think it went longer than like 10, 11 minutes, right? But it was action packed from start to finish.
Fun story, fun fact about this match, really quick. Everyone, me included, thought Ospreay was gonna take like a couple weeks off, right? Like after the cage match, he flew. He was already in town, and if you don't know, it was in Omaha. And Omaha had like a I almost said hurricane, not a hurricane, a snowstorm out there. So like a lot of people couldn't get into town. Moxley drove 11 hours to get there, which we didn't talk about that actually. We should real quick. So shout out to Moxley for doing that. Drove 11 hours to get down there to get a bunch of spikes in his back. But yeah, the people who made it out there were able to make it out there. Ospreay did. I don't think Ospreay was actually going to be booked or anything like that, but he had his gear. He had a match. So shout out to Ospreay. And it got AR Fox on screen again, which is great.
Yep. Yeah. Hooked AR Fox up, man. And man, he was also on Collision, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I haven't watched any Collision yet. I'm going to do it tonight.
Okay,
so I'm sorry.
AR Fox, it's AR Fox and Top Flight versus the Death Riders for the trios.
Oh, so easy trios defense. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if I had to guess what happens, because I haven't seen it, right? The crew fucks with Top Flight and then they lose.
Yeah, more than likely. Like they're going to lose either way, right? They're not winning the trios championships, but they're losing no matter what. They're losing. Shenanigans, no shenanigans.
Yeah. So yeah, the match between him and Ospreay was a very short match, but hey, Ospreay let AR Fox showcase what he got throughout the match, and he's as good of a high flyer as like anybody in AEW by far.
Yeah, man.
But Ospreay won this match with a hidden blade after AR Fox missed a 450 splash, and so it was again. You got like you got like 10, 15 minutes to watch a match. Watch this one. You'll get everything you want in that time span in this one match. But yeah, very fun match. Let's see. We had Swerve. Oh, it was a Swerve Dynasty showing the video package for Swerve. Swerve and Mox at Dynasty, starting to hype that up. And after that, Renee, she's like, oh, Swerve is going to be Swerve and Mox at Dynasty, and here we are. We're going to talk to Hangman Adam Page. And the first thing is she's like, well, how do you feel about, Swerve getting a chance at the title? Hangman's like, hey, I told you I'm a man of my word that I will never let Swerve win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship again. And he's like, I wouldn't be a man of my word if I didn't do that. But I'm going to start focusing on myself and getting myself back to the world title. So I'm going to enter the Owen. So Hangman enters the Owen.
The fact that I could talk about this for 20 minutes, but I won't, is very interesting because Renee had to ask about Swerve. Mm-hmm. And look, I saw the Hangman stands. I'm on y'all every week. I know I'm on there every week. Hangman got the haircut. Y'all are all like foaming at the y'all are foaming right now at areas that I will not say because we might get demonetized.
At the mouth. Just say foaming at the mouth. It's
Foaming
okay.
at the mouth.
There you go.
And there him joining the Owen and him saying what he said about Swerve is very interesting. I don't think we're gonna get to the point where Hangman's gonna try to screw over Swerve at Dynasty. I don't think he's gonna do that. I don't think he'll go that far right now. I think he's really gonna just focus on himself. But before Dynasty, those two are gonna we're gonna see those two have a like little face to face at some point before Dynasty. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen. Like it's gonna be like a little backstage thing. We'll see it. It has to happen at this point now. It has to.
Yeah, they're gonna collide one way or another, right? Like there is nothing that's going to stop it, right? It's just going to happen. They are destined to fight each other forever.
People are already calling that might be the main event of All In, and I feel like honestly that is a very worthy All In main event. Also, that would mean Swerve has main evented 2 All Ins, by the way, if that does happen. I'm just saying. I'm not saying nothing, but I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be really interesting to see where that goes, if that is where it goes, because I think everyone's assuming that. Well, not everyone. Most people are assuming that Swerve is just gonna beat Moxley, right? Like everyone just kind of assumes that we're doing this to get the Death Rider story over, at least with the world title be done. But yeah, I think it's just gonna be interesting to see where all this goes. There's too many lines that are tying together right now. I want to see how those like unthread and untangle as we go on to All In and to Dynasty.
Yeah, because you never know. Like, I think people have marked in already that Ospreay is going to win the Owen and get his title shot.
Yeah, that's the other one, right? People are saying it's either going to be, there are 3 main events that are flying around, right? One of them is Hangman Swerve, which is probably going to take the most work to get there because Swerve needs to be world champion. Hangman needs to win the Owen, right? The second one was Swerve versus Ospreay, which we actually talked about last week, where like Swerve would probably take the loss there. Ospreay would be world champion going out of All In, and we'd see where that goes next. The third one that no one's really talking about, because I don't think anyone really wants to talk about it, would be Moxley Ospreay. That is still a possibility in that right now, because it just feels like Ospreay's going to win the Owen. It just feel like no matter what, we can say what we want about Hangman. It feels like Ospreay is going to win the Owen in main event All In. We all could be wrong. Like we don't know, but it just feels like it's going to be Ospreay in that main event against whoever the world champion is. And at this point, the only 2 options are Moxley and Swerve. I don't think we're going to get anyone else in there at that spot. It's going to be one of those 2. And that, where we see that leaves Hangman. I mean, that we can also have a Swerve Hangman match on All In somewhere, right? But like it just, there's a lot of, with those 4 alone, there's a lot of scenarios. And we're not even talking about anyone else who's in the Own yet, because we don't even know who else is in it. But it's already star-studded with Ospreay and Hangman. Star-studded Owen immediately.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna see. I hope for the Owen, I really hope they're really stacking it up. Like it's looking like it so far. You got Hangman, you got Ospreay. We'll see who else.
It has to be everyone that's been going after that title lately, right? It has to be Hangman. It has to be Ospreay. We know those for sure. Orange Cassidy has to be in there at some point. Like he has to. Like Orange Cassidy is also a heavy hitter. Wait, who'd you say?
MJF.
MJF has to be in there for sure, right? If Darby's back from Everest, Darby has to be in there. Like it has to be like a star-studded Owen, because the winner of this is going to the main event All In. So it has to be an Owen it has to be the best Owen that AEW has put on. It has to be. So we'll see where that goes.
And I think we're also not talking. We haven't really mentioned it yet, but on the women's side, that is just a whole different monster. We're only talking about the men's side of things.
Depending on who the women are that are in the Owen, that can also be a main event, because right now, Timeless Toni Storm is the AEW World Champion. For all intents and purposes, the top title in, like, if you had to rank the titles, the top title in AEW right now is that AEW Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's in the Owen on that side, that could also easily main event All In, depending on who it is. Like it's wild. We don't know who. Like we also have Okada Omega, that can also main event. Like there are a lot of paths that we can go and a lot of big stories that can main event All In. It's really just about building up those stories now and putting the right people in the right places.
Yep. Yeah, we're really gonna find out real soon. It's gonna start because they're not gonna take the foot off the gas.
No.
It's just gonna keep going.
Once we pass Dynasty, like I think there's like maybe one more pay-per-view in between that. But realistically, the next big pay-per-view after Revolution, Dynasty is a nice stop, but the next big one is All In. And we have a video on the channel already talking about how they've been building for that for already over a month. Yeah. So we'll just have to see. I think AEW is in a really interesting place right now because they have a lot of people that can willingly and easily main event All In, and it's really at this point about picking the right match to do it. And it might not be the AEW Men's World Championship. It could be the International. It could be the Women's World Championship. It could be, well, those are really the options. I was about to rail off more. There's no other options. Those are it.
What, so, TBS?
As much as I love Athena and as much as I love Mercedes and as much as I would love that to main event, it feels they've been building that up also, but I don't think that's gonna be main event. That might be like semi-main. Sadly. Mm-hmm. That might be my main event. When it happens, that might be my main event. I might just leave after. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, right. You paid all that money to get your ass out there?
I still got to build up points to get a plane ticket. So we'll see what happens.
Shit. Yeah, a lot of good stuff, man. Like, we're gonna see where it goes. Because every week of Dynamite, we're slowly peeling it back, seeing what's going on.
Yeah, man. After Revolution, we're really gonna be taking off. Like everyone feels like AEW's been going crazy lately. Just wait till we get to that build for All In. There's gonna be literally no breaks.
No, not at all. All right, man. So right after this, we had Mercedes with Renee, and Mercedes, was like, Billie, Billie had Hart, but Hart isn't enough to beat Mercedes Monet. And if she would have actually got trained properly, or she would have got trained by her, she might have actually had a chance. And she was like, no, she wouldn't have had a chance then either. And whoever trained her sucks. I'm like, it's one of those. At this point, she realized she messed up.
So Athena shows up at Dynasty, right? For sure. Like Athena shows up at Dynasty.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
This is the build for it, right? She already, she's like telling Athena that she sucks at training Billie Starks and all that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these Dynamites or somewhere, Athena just shows up and just messes Mercedes up.
Because Athena's there every week. They do Ring of Honor tapings after Dynamite also. So Athena's always there. They can pull her out whatever they want. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's a matter of when. And then, we're going to see them doing the cross show thing too.
Oh,
She'll show up on Dynamite, and then Mercedes will show up in Ring of Honor. And then, it's going to be a war.
I think they announced Supercard of Honor, which AEW, I respect y'all for being petty. Supercard of Honor is usually in the same place that WrestleMania is in. So, and I know that Tony Khan does not like WWE, but I still was like, we might be able to get a Supercard of Honor here, maybe.
Nope.
We are not. They're going to Las Vegas East and Atlantic City. So that's when Mercedes could show up there too. Like there's a lot that can go on. We'll have to see. It's like I said, this is another one of the really interesting All-In builds. This is actually the one that's been building like AEW to AEW. This is the one that's been building longest, technically.
Which one?
Mercedes in oh no, not AEW to AEW, because if it's our confirmed quote unquote AEW to AEW would be Mercedes and Athena, but really it's actually Hangman and Swerve.
Yeah, it's
but that one's not confirmed yet. So quote unquote. So right now I guess it's Athena and Mercedes until I'm wrong in a week.
Yeah, we'll find out. Let's see. So yeah, we got that call out, and now we are at the main event.
Such a good match.
Oh, this was a fucking man. This was a damn good match. Let's see. So we have Megan Bayne, Kris Statlander for the main event of Dynamite. They did not start slow at all. They started going at each other immediately. So they started fighting immediately, and then things happened. They go to the outside with there was a bunch of stuff that wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but it was like they were fighting back and forth. Eventually, Megan Bayne got knocked to the outside. Kris Statlander was out there with her. Kris Statlander does this one-legged moonsault off of the apron onto Megan Bayne. And I was like, holy, what the? Where you been hiding all that?
That she used to do that a lot before the ACL tears. So I'm happy she brought it back out.
Yeah, she brought it out for this match. And then, Stat continued to take control. And like the beginning of this match was all Kris Statlander. She was dominating. She was bringing it to Megan Bayne until there was a certain point where Megan Bayne was in the corner. She got Kris Statlander, then an exploder suplex into the corner. And like after that, when Kris Statlander got up, Penelope Ford, she grabbed Kris Statlander's ankle. At that point, Megan Bayne got Kris Statlander and ended up doing a huge Liger bomb. She did the running light because Kris Statlander was on the top rope. She ended up picking her up and just running and doing the Liger bomb. I was like, wow. So right after that, Megan Bayne goes for the face descent. Statlander reverses into a Harlem sidekick, the axe kick. And then right after this, Penelope Ford grabs Kris Statlander again. She gets thrown out. So Statlander picks up Megan Bayne, does a power bomb, picks her up again, does the I don't know why I called it the key crusher, but that's what it is. Yeah, so she does the key crusher to Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne kicks out, and then this is something you'll mostly only see the guys do, but you got two powerhouses here, and they're going to do it too. They did a suplex battle, German suplexes, aplenty. Megan Bayne did a German suplex. Statlander was like, She gets up behind Megan Bayne. She does a German suplex. Megan Bayne gets up, was like fired up, and she's like, nope. And then they kept doing it. Eventually, it ends with Megan Bayne doing that leaping lariat that she does. Statlander rolls out of the ring. Megan Bayne dives. Megan Bayne does a dive on top of Statlander, then throws Statlander back in the ring, and then hits a Falcon Arrow for the 2 count. Bayne and then at this point, they were fighting on the outside again. She picks Statlander, tosses her into Toni Storm, and while that commotion was going on, she picks up Kris Statlander again, does the face descent on the outside, and then she throws her inside the ring. Well, she tells them to go. She's like, watch this. She throws them in the ring. She does it again and gets the pin for the win. After the match, Toni Storm wasn't taking that line. she wasn't having it. She wrapped her hand up with the tape while Megan Bayne was in the ring, and she went into the ring, and then they started fighting. They got pulled apart by the security. Toni Storm knocks Megan Bayne out of the ring. She gets the mic and pretty much says, "Hey, we're fighting at Dynasty for the women's title." That's not all Toni Storm said. I'm just paraphrasing it because she said a lot of shit. Toni Storm said a lot of stuff. I implore you guys, if you get a chance, just watch the match and hear all the shit Toni Storm says throughout the match. The shit's hilarious. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the match. What did you think, man?
I thought this match was fantastic. Obviously, it was going to be great with Kris Statlander and Megan Bayne, right? They had that banger before. They had another banger now, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, unsurprisingly.
I think if you wanted proof that Megan Bayne deserves to be like in Dynasty with Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship, if you didn't have the other matches already, this is the match, right? Megan Bayne has not had a bad match since she's been in AEW, like not one. Mm-hmm. Like she's had a couple squashes here and there, but those squashes aren't bad matches. Squashes are short matches. But Bayne is wrestling against anyone that they throw at her. They're having bangers, just fantastic. She gonna take that loss to Toni Storm though in a couple weeks.
Yeah. She gonna take that L.
But it's going to be interesting to see how that goes and where that builds up. And it's interesting to see where they're going after Toni Storm and Mariah May, right? Because like usually what you expect is for them to be like, oh, let's do another year story. That's what other places do, right? I actually like that they're doing this with Megan Bayne. I think it's going to be short. After this, Megan Bayne's going to go into the Owen for sure, right? To have that Owen stacked on the women's side also. But I think it was like really interesting. And like one last thought too, because I'm rambling now, because I really like this match. Toni Storm is fucking incredible. They had Megan Bayne and Kris Statlander had that great match, and Toni Storm was able to just outshine them immediately and just rise above to show that why she is part 2 of the franchise. there are two franchises in AEW right now. One is Swerve, one is Timeless Toni Storm. And it's just fantastic to see that she makes that Women's World Championship important. Jesus Christ. She might be up there as one of the best AEW champions of all of the titles of all time. She's up there with like a Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy's first international championship run, that first Cody TNT run. Like, she is up there, and she well deserves it. And that's all. That's all my thoughts.
I agree. I think she deserves all the flowers she did. Toni Storm is one of the, like we said it last week, one of the best wrestlers, just period, all around. And, you know, there's no doubting that. Like, she's on screen, she makes the boat. She has that star power. Anytime she's on screen, you're paying attention, right? Like, there's not a time when she's on screen you're not. Yeah, like, and again, I'm going to reiterate this thing. You don't need Camille when you have Megan Bayne.
Yeah, you saw that popping up too today, right? Or not today. I barely know what day it is, but like that was this week. People were talking about Camille this week, and Tony Khan had to bring her up.
Yeah, and he said, well, that storyline with Mercedes isn't done yet, and she got attacked, and you know she's still on contract with AEW. It's pretty much, you know, the gist of it. He can bring her back at any time.
This might be an unpopular opinion, and I don't think we have to like really harp on this for a long time, but just like with every other company, just because you're on contract does not guarantee you should be on TV. We talked about it last week. I don't want to feel like I'm dunking on Camille because I'm not, but she's just not of that level yet. Like there are a lot of women who deserve a spot on TV that aren't getting it right now. Some have visa issues, some just aren't on TV right now. But there's a list of people that I will want on TV before Camille shows back up and finishes the story with Mercedes. That's my opinion. If y'all disagree, y'all can disagree, but that's where I'm at.
I would like to see her do a Ring of Honor run first before getting back on TV. Work back up, like do a Ring of Honor run, and then pass the Kris Statlander test.
I'm actually surprised she hasn't been on Ring of Honor. Like I don't hope this. That's not what I'm saying. But she might have got like hurt. That might be the reason why she's not. That has to be like part of the reason why she's not around. Because Tony Khan doesn't really make a habit of saying things like he said about Camille, right? Like he normally does not do that. Right. So there might be some like other circumstances that are keeping her off of TV. I could be wrong. It could just be that she's not on TV, but it definitely feels like something else is going on, and we don't know what it is. But this is how I feel.
We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, probably whenever Camille comes back. I'm guessing we'll wait until around the end of the Mercedes Athena story. At some point, we'll see Camille back.
Yeah, but I'll take Megan Bayne anytime, every time.
Yeah, there's a lot of women on that long list that are not on TV that I think should be on TV before Camille. So take that as you will.
Yep. When Cheetah heals up again, she needs to be back on TV.
Oh, for sure. Once Jamie Hayter has her visa stuff taken care of, which I think it is now, she needs to be back on TV. We have a lot of women that need to be on TV a lot more often. So we'll see. You have any final thoughts?
Well, so my final thought for AEW Dynamite was it's a fantastic show. If we were giving it a rating out of 5, I would have to give it a 5 out of 5, man.
You know, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that.
I think like top to bottom, they didn't miss at all. And they had little segments in between, but they were not overstayed their welcome. They were quick, and we got back to the action. So, yeah, this was damn good AEW Dynamite episode.
I agree. Like a rating, I think I have to give this one a 5-star. Also, I think this was like this is what Dynamite should be, right? Like this is it. Where you still have a lot of story stuff, you have a lot of talking in the back, you have a lot of people that are talking still, but your main focus is the action. And this is a night where everyone assumed that Jon Moxley and Copeland was not going to be a great match, right? Everyone was dreading that match to happen, and that match ended up being a banger. So I think this is a win for AEW. What is not a win is the fact that I haven't watched Collision yet, and that it's 2 hours, it's 1 hour yesterday and 1 hour today.
Yeah.
But let's be real. March Madness has been kind of crazy, so it is what it is.
Yeah, March Madness is kind of going nuts right now.
Mm-hmm. So this. At least, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I said at least it's not for the NBA fucking All-Star game.
No, God, no. NBA has a lot of problems right now, but it's neither here nor there.
Yep, that's another hour show if we talk about that.
Yeah. If you made it this far, this is your reminder that if you want to hear the Collision side of things, come back to this channel tomorrow. There'll be a link in the doobly-doo in the description below, and there will be something on the screen at some point. You'll see it pretty soon. But as of right now, this is all for this episode. Prophet, do your thing.
All right, guys. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Hey, we really appreciate it. And if you like the show, for sure tap that like button. Lets us know that you like the content, and then that, what we're doing, you vibe with, But also subscribe, hit that bell button. So whenever any of our podcasts come out, which is this one, the OVA or Command Grab, hey, you get those immediately, because you don't just get one for subscribing, you get 3. So, if you were paying money, it'd be the best value in podcasts. But you get it for free, so it ain't hurting you. So, lastly, comment, because I know we said some stuff. I know you either agree with some of the stuff we said or don't disagree, or you're in the middle. Comment, let us know. Hell, we might even talk about it on the next episode. And of course, we will comment. We also talk back to. So, yeah, don't be afraid to comment. So with that, thank you guys for joining us on the show, and we're out.
Peace.